Hello, everyone. It's Tawnya Love. I'm feeling called in to speak about some important messages in regards to alignment and in regards to karma and spiritual alignment, spiritual mastery. And this morning, I was working out, I had a few things happen where I woke up from a dream and just had this knowing on some things to talk about. And then as I was working out, I kept getting that feeling. So I know it's okay. I'm hearing you, Spirit. It's time to speak up. And basically, this is in regards to living with spiritual integrity and spiritual alignment. And humans that are operating in a shadow frequency often completely disregard this because they're in ignorance. They're literally in a lower frequency of unconscious, lack of awareness, lack of understanding the spiritual journey. They're very earthbound. All they care about is quick fix, monetary gains, fame, popularity. It's just very low frequency, very shallow, superficial. And so often people in that frequency, they will do anything and everything and do the most things to get what they want. And they don't really have the ability yet. I mean, I feel like I'm going to be, how do I reframe this? Everyone has the opportunity to choose alignment. And when you do, you pass different spiritual initiations and tests, you advance. And when you fail them, you stay in a lower frequency. And so you just keep repeating the same karmic cycles and the same bullshit. And a lot of humans in that lower frequency, they don't have the self-awareness to even recognize that their bad luck that they're getting isn't bad luck. It's karma. They're getting karma for the bullshit they have been putting out to others. So when you're if you're going to hang out with someone and one of the things that came to me, so I'm kind of feeling a lot of energy coming in right now. So just bear with me. One of the things I woke up with was just this clear knowing to speak about the importance when you're going to possibly be friends with a new person or date a new person and you're just getting to know a new person. This also applies to if it's a person, like with my ex, I met him when I was 17. I knew him most of my life. He hurt me and betrayed me many times, did so many things, and then denied it all and projected and told everyone that I was the evil one, that I was crazy, that I was irresponsible, all the things that he actually is. And I say is for a reason. Now, you could know someone and then not see them for 13 years, which is what happened with us. I did not see him for 13 years. And then he came back towards me. I was minding my own business, living a happy life, doing my best to heal and recover from a previous narcissistic relationship, which was a journey to get me to this place where I now really understand what those things were coming for. And they were coming to wake me up, to help me to take my power back, to heal deeper wounds from childhood, and to really recognize patterns and to cut off and to completely discard and release the narcissistic contract, which I have done. I am done with fucking narcissists. And I can see them coming. I can feel their energies. But spirit kind of dangled me in that relationship, and I felt it. And I was getting all kinds of psychic awareness on it. And I felt like I was being used as a spiritual, kind of I don't want to say a tool, but in a way, I was presented kind of like in Beauty and the Beast when the goddess comes and she looks like a hag and she's asking for some help, for some food. And the beast is really cocky and arrogant and just pushes her aside no, get out of here. You're not worth my time. And then she transforms to a beautiful goddess and he does not pass that test. He fails that initiation. Very much is how I feel what happened in this case. He could not see the goddess that was before him, the woman who had gone through so much transformation and done so much healing on herself and was a very amazingly aligned being, while he was still the same. And part of the test for me was to recognize you don't really, you do know this person, but you haven't been around him for 13 years. So a part of you, because you've evolved so much and you've healed so much, you're open to seeing if that's the case for him, which is what I was doing. But you also have to practice discernment, because just keep watching, because if he has not done his healing work, it will be so obvious and clear, which is exactly what happened. And in the place I'm at now, I will take absolutely zero tolerance for a man screaming in my face, telling me, saying fuck you to me and throwing a tantrum and acting intimidating. That's done. That is fucking done. I will never tolerate that shit again, ever. And so what I woke up with was, as far as that story goes, that relationship was done. That person was playing games with me, and I could tell they were trying to reject me, do all the things he used to do to make me feel rejected, not loved, so that he then can be justified to go and philander and go and check out other options, all the shit that I had already been very familiar with. And for me this time, I just saw the disrespect and I was like, yeah, we're done. So when he left my house, he said a bunch of shit. I told him to get the fuck out of my house. And because he was screaming, and when he was screaming that he was leaving me because I wouldn't answer his fucking question, I have it all on video, by the way. Well, anyways, my ring caught the whole thing. But my point was saying this is that when he was doing this, I told him, if you go and you don't want to talk to me calmly, if you go, then stay gone. And I meant it. And so energetically, that relationship was done in my perspective, because he then ghosted me, gaslit me, started sending me weird threatening texts, trying to gaslight that the situation even happened. And I was just like, oh my God, like this guy must not realize that I have been through so much narcissistic training at this point. Like, this is bullshit. I see right through it. What I woke up with was, when you're dating, and this is my message to anybody out there that's either in a toxic relationship or has been, or maybe you're a person that's just starting to date or get to know somebody as a friend or as a lover, a potential lover, right? You haven't crossed that threshold, but you're just meeting someone. What came to me was, if a person comes towards you, you have the divine right to take your time to get to know them. Even if you've known them before, you don't know them now. You have like a familiar connection to nostalgia, but you really don't know if that person is the same. And in the case with some people, they're worse. They're way worse than they were when they were with you. And so when they come back around, you might think, oh, maybe they're better. And then you realize really quickly they're not better. So if you're in a position where you're just considering dating, or maybe a business proposal or anything, you have the divine right to be patient and to take your time in getting to know that person. And in regards to dating, if somebody says, and I'm going to say this as a female because, again, that's my perspective, and I feel like this happens to females a lot. If a female is opening herself up to see if she's even interested in dating someone, and you're just getting to know somebody, and the guy is putting pressure to have sex, or he just comes in hot and passionate, wants to just hook up with you, and you don't really know them yet, that is a red flag. Take your time, get to know them longer, let them know that. And if a person then says to you that they're not interested, like, I'm not interested in just being friends, and they even can say it very charmingly. I see dating shows where these narcissistic dudes on these shows are just like, yeah, I'm not interested in just being friends. Like, you're so sexy, you're so hot. And they will use ways to flatter a woman to make her feel desired. But when a man's trying to make you feel desired and he doesn't want to make sure you feel safe, that is a red flag. So if somebody's coming in hot and they're even stroking your ego, they're saying the things that maybe you've wished you heard from a past partner, be present in yourself and realize that you really don't need external validation. You don't need the compliments. You really don't. Now, if you get them and it feels loving and you feel safe and you feel it's aligned, sure, you can add it. It's like toppings on your cupcake. But the fulfillment of the relationship is in the the foundation of that relationship being based upon trust, being based upon respect, being based upon reciprocity and connection. So if somebody's coming in hot and they're trying to mock, like, I don't want to be friends, I want to be more than that, like, you're so sexy, whatever, red flag, because that person is showing you they do not give a fuck about the big picture. They're not looking at a big picture future with you. They are looking for a quick fix. They're looking for a just moment of passion for their pleasure, for their enjoyment, and then they could give a fuck what happens to you after that. And that's why they don't care about being friends. And if a man literally says to you, I don't want to be your friend, run. Because the fundamental aspect of a healthy, long-lasting relationship, in my perspective, and I am very insightful, is based upon friendship, self-respect, and mutual respect. So if that person is showing you they don't have self-respect, they don't respect themselves, they don't have self-love, they're not going to have it for you. If you're not having good boundaries and you're not having good self-respect, you're going to end up, if you're not conscious, you can turn on yourself when you get rejected by these fucking fuckboys. And so you have to be so aware that if a person really cares about you, if they really love you, if they really have good intentions for you, they're going to come in and they're going to really want to gain your trust, your respect, and your friendship. They're going to be that for you, and they will be patient. And honestly, authentically, they will be understanding on why you want to take your time and why you want to get to know them and let that, natural evolution take place in becoming more than friends. Because friendship, in my perspective, again, friendship is the most important aspect of any relationship, friendship and respect. So and this applies to family members, you could have known someone in your family for years and years, and you only hang out with them because you were made to feel guilty and you were made to feel shamed if you didn't people please. But maybe your entire life you couldn't stand that creepy fucking uncle that touched you weird ways or said inappropriate things, or that really creepy grandpa, or whatever it is. You need to be present in yourself enough to recognize what respect is and what is predator. And some of these people that are coming towards women to date them, and it could even be in the form of a fucking ex, that you had all this hope that it could be this beautiful healing thing, that it could be healing for you, for them, for your children. Like, I know in myself what my perspective was, but on the other level, I started to really see this person is showing me toxic shit. They're showing me that they not only have they not gotten better from when I ran from them the first time, they're showing me that they're worse. And so whether it's someone that you are just meeting, or like I say, it could be someone you're reconnecting with, or attaching with, because let's get deeper. Connection is deeper. Attachment, shallow. So someone could come towards you and they have an attachment to you. They have history with you. Very different than someone that comes towards you that has a connection with you, that has respect for you, that wants good for you, and that is willing to be patient and see, like, whatever that takes for us to be more, I will walk the course of that because I care about this person, because I want to be their friend, because I want to have a future with them. And so I can be patient for that bigger picture to unfold. And some humans just are awful at that. And I'm telling you, if every girl, how do I hashtag this, guys? Let me know in the comments. How do I hashtag this to get all the younger generation to listen to this podcast? Because I feel like we have almost like this epidemic of spiritual, what's the word I want to say? This epidemic of like sexual toxicity, where so many people in this new generation, at least from what they're showing us on shows and like things that I hear from, even, I'll be honest, even my kids telling me stuff that they hear, or things that I'm observing and how their perspective and how they're seeing relationships. I'm concerned for this generation and younger generations, where it's this whole hookup culture of just like getting with someone, hooking up, getting a quick fix and then moving on. And it's almost like humans are using each other like a drug. You know, like some people go in and get a quick fix from some cocaine or heroin, or they're doing weed, or they're getting drunk, or whatever the alcohol, you know, the choice of drug that they're doing. But people now, it seems that there's a big problem with humans just wanting to use each other up. And it's really concerning to my soul. It's concerning because of how much I do really care about humanity and care about people in their well-being. And I can see that these choices and these habits and patterns are toxic. They are not ever going to fulfill a person. You will never be sustained and fulfilled and happy and content and healthy if you're living in this way. You never will. You will always be lusting after something else, needing another hit, just like a crackhead needs a hit of crack. It's no different than someone that's a sexual predator or a sexual addict that just wants to get constant validation, or they want to constantly and consistently lust after women and prey upon them. And so to my women listening, and I'll be fair, there could be men who this has happened to, but I feel like I don't see or hear much about it. So I'm totally open to hearing it. If there's a man out there that feels like, you know, he's had women playing with him and playing games, sure, let us know. But my perspective and what I see chronically as an issue in this society is men preying upon women. And so that's the first part of this segment. I want to talk about that. I think I'll do a part 2, because then I'm going to talk to you about, and what spiritual is coming in hot with is I'm to deliver a divine message about karma. So that will be coming. That will be the next topic. But this situation with dating, I feel like it just shows how many people, and I personally feel this has become worse because of technology. Now, there can be great things about technology. Like, I'm doing this podcast. I'm going to upload it to YouTube. And anyone and everyone who would like to heal and become more empowered and healthy can find it and subscribe to my channel and share it with their friends and become better and more radiant beings. So there's beautiful things we can do with technology. And that's what I'm doing with it. There's also really toxic things people can do with technology. They can be on social media and they could have a girlfriend, but they're in the bathroom checking out girls on Instagram. They could have a wife, but they could be, you know, sending DMs to old lovers and old potential friends that they never hooked up with in Facebook Messenger. Like, there's so many things we can do. And there's the good and the bad of technology. And so we have to look at that. Like, there's times in my life when I felt people were betraying me and they weren't being loyal to me, that I opened myself up to be, you know what, fine, I'll talk to people on technology too. And it wasn't fulfilling. It did not make me feel better. I was hurt because of someone not being loyal to me. In that time in my journey, this was many years ago, I mirrored that to that person. Like, okay, I'll show you what that looks like, fucker. And I'll tell you, as a woman who went through that, it was not rewarding. And it just, even to talk to someone to make someone else feel bad, it did not feel fulfilling. And it was not me. And I realized that, like, this isn't even me to do this. This is me feeling hurt. And so I can say that as a woman who's evolved far beyond that, that I understand how that can hurt people and how that can affect you. And I feel like it's so important that we recognize in ourselves what is healthy and what is not. So I can be on these podcasts talking all the time about what health is and what beautiful choices can look like. But if you, as a person listening to this, want to be toxic and don't care, or you don't want to see yourself, you just want to blame everyone else, you want to blame all the other people in the world, or let's say you were a teenager and some girl let you down, but you're like in your 50s now and you're still hating women, but you still want to go lustfully hook up with them so you can reject them and hurt them and make them feel inadequate because that's how you felt because someone rejected you once. There's so much psychology behind all of that. And the point I'm making here is that the person that holds the responsibility for healing that is you, the listener. For me, in my world, the person who is responsible for healing all the pain and disappointment and abuse I went through was me. I was the only one who was going to pull myself out of that hell and heal. I was the only one that could look at my own stuff and do better. I was the only one that could have integrity and be patient and not want to go for quick instant fix and gratification. I was the only one who could ascend out of shadow and want to know what was higher, to question, like, how can it be better? I want to know what's higher. I want to go to the gift frequency. I want to go to the civic frequency. I want to be the master of my reality. And because of that, I can be, and I am being that. But anyone who is out there listening, who feels like their life has chaos, suffering, it's not fulfilling, there is work for you to do. Not for you to sit back and blame the people that let you down. Like, there are people who have disappointed me. I'm not wasting any of my time about those people. I'm working on myself. I'm learning Italian because I love to learn new things. I am doing different workouts because I enjoy challenging my body. I'm going and visiting new places because that's what I like, is adventure. So I am in charge of that journey, and I will bring towards me fulfillment because that's what I feel guided to do. So people who want to sit back and just be angry at someone for outgrowing them, be angry at someone who has healthy boundaries, and try to blame that person like they're the problem for their toxic life, come on. You're going to live in hell forever if you do that. I'll just be so blunt. Anybody out there that has been hurt or jaded, or they've been hurt and then they become jaded and they just sit around in their toxicity blaming the world for their shit, you're going to be your own problem until you take your last breath, and then you'll most likely come back, reincarnate, and do the same fucking thing until you look at life from a spiritual perspective, where everything in your life is offering you the opportunity for spiritual growth and advancement. And if you deny it, if you reject the opportunities and the initiations, that's on you. That's not on anybody else. And if a woman, because I'm speaking as a woman, if a woman says, you know what, you're showing me all signs that you're not healthy, you have no loyalty, you're toxic as fuck, you're abusive, you still don't want to have self-awareness or self-ownership or have accountability, and so I'm going to have to shut this door and never open it to you again, and you want to sit around and blame that woman as if she's the problem, you are your own problem. Because that woman is showing you, sometimes women, because as a woman, I have put so much energy into partners where I'm, helping them and trying to help them understand things. And now this new place I live in, no, I'm not going to do that. I will share things on a podcast to the collective, and anyone who wants to be blessed from that knowledge and wisdom will open themselves to be blessed. But I will never sit and argue and go back and forth in toxic banter with anyone ever again, because it is fucking exhausting. It is terrible for your frequency. It lowers your frequency. It's not even something I will entertain at this point. And so we have the power to look in ourselves and realize, if a woman, a really good woman who has showed you every bit of her signs is that she's loyal, she's honoring, she's truthful, she fucking is magical, and she's shown you all that. Like, you have gotten that information consistently, and then you fuck it up, and then she shuts the door. When you try to slam in her face, she shuts and locks it, and then she never opens it again. You will know that is a woman, and this is my message to any men out there, and some in particular that don't want to really understand why I won't want to talk to them. But when that happens, that is a woman showing you self-respect. She loves herself, she respects herself, and she is not playing around. She is not going to play any fucking toxic games. So she's shutting that door. She's choosing herself. She's choosing Source God and the divine, and she's going to trust and flow and continue to blossom and grow in divine and beautiful ways, because that is her choice, because she is being a conscious woman. And so anybody that doesn't want to evolve with a man or a woman, because this could happen, right? You could have a toxic female doing the same thing, because I want to make sure I've had people in the past be like, yeah, but what about women? As if I don't understand that this could happen both ways. And I'm speaking as a woman. So, and I'm speaking as a woman who is, talking about relationships with men. So if it's with a man in his power, self-love, boundaries, yes, that is so important. And if it's a toxic woman who didn't want to learn, then that's her journey. And for men listening, if you're still attached to codependent toxic females and you are choosing that over the fucking goddess, that is some ignorant shit. But that's your work to do. And that is your work and your responsibility to look into that and to make better choices. So I feel like this first part of it is just really a message for anybody that might be considering dating or going into partnership with someone or being friends with someone. Like, really pay attention to how people treat you. Pay attention to if there's a lot of pressure to move fast, even if it's presented as passion or as, sexual, whatever. Pay attention that if that person isn't showing you loyalty, if they're not showing you reciprocity, if they don't make you feel safe, if you actually feel triggered and anxious in their presence, you are in shadow. You are in a shadow frequency. And you don't have to sit around and beat yourself up about it. You don't have to shame yourself for it. You just need to recognize that, pull yourself back into yourself and get clear, like, what is it that I really need to learn from this? What is it that I really feel I need right now? Like, your inner child, what does he or she need to feel safe, to feel peaceful? And if you take time to go inward, and this is why I'm big on encouraging people to meditate and to just be in stillness every day, to take time to sit in stillness, you will start to really understand what your inner child needs. And then you can care for that inner child and not continue to unconsciously traumatize yourself again and again because you keep letting uncomfortable energy come around you and call it normal. Like in my book, Universal Trust Fund Baby, I refer to it as the uncomfortably comfortable, where if you grew up in abuse, it was uncomfortable, right? But because you were forced to sit in it for your childhood, most of your beginning of your life, it becomes like a sense of normalcy, the uncomfortable comfortable. And that is something worth being aware of if you want to evolve beyond it and you want to find the place where you can reside in peace and where you can feel really aligned in yourself as someone who loves themselves, as someone who chooses themselves, even if it costs you. I have learned to choose myself, and it might cost me that potential friendship or that potential partnership that, was a fantasy and a dream that I was starting to imagine it to becoming something. But once a person shows me who they are, they show me the toxicity they think I should just drink as normalcy. No, I'm not here to drink anybody's poison. And I can sense really quickly when something's fucking poison compared to when it actually feels healthy. And so for any of you listening, whether you're dealing with women or men, be honest with yourself. And as a listener, if you're a toxic female or a toxic male, the only way you're going to have a happy, joyous, abundant, and fulfilling life is to sit with yourself and heal your shit and face your shit, have accountability, and then go and do some redemption. Go and show honor to the ones you've dishonored. And don't do any more of your bullshit. And if you can't handle doing that, then you should not even try to date people. You know what I'm saying? Because it's unfortunate how many misaligned, toxic people will go and try to date knowing that they have no interest in helping. But that's part of the conscious. They have no interest in being a lover. They have no interest in being a protector, a provider. They just want to go and take. They want to go in there and take and siphon and drain from another life force. And this is where I'm going to go into part 2, and we're going to talk about black magic and people that are in fucking cults and covens, and why certain people think that's powerful, and why all of that will come back to bite them in the ass in really tragic ways, because it's a little thing called karma. So we're going to pause here, and I'll be back for part 2. So marinate on that.